The STEM Society.
What's going on, socialites? It's me, Cole Jackson, and we are doing something different for the Wednesday show. From here on out, starting today, on the Wednesday shows, I'm going to be dropping the weekly album check-in. Now, the check-in is basically going to be me give you guys music critiques for about 3 to 4 albums, and I'm going to actually tell you some songs you should be listening to as well. So that's going to be the Wednesday show from here on out. Sunday is going to be more news oriented, so that way I can actually give you the music critiques I've been holding back for the longest. So that's the schedule. Wednesday music critiques, and Sunday is going to be music news. That gives me more of a balance, and that gives me an opportunity to get out the stuff that I've been really feeling about a lot of these albums. Now, this week I got 3 albums for you guys. R&B, I have hip hop, and I do have a UK grime album. So let's go ahead and get into it. This year has been a disappointing music year, even on the R&B side of things, but finally we get some good R&B in 2025 with Coco Jones' newest album, Why Not More. 14 tracks, 42 minutes long. The reaction on the timeline currently is overwhelmingly positive. People love this album. They are really, really screaming for this album. And I have to agree. I enjoy it too. I think the promo run had a lot to do with it. And I also feel like her as a singer and her previous EP had a lot to do with this album being so good as well. Now, she did hit us up with producers on here like London on the Track, Cardiac, Stargate, who did well on this album. I think they did a pretty fantastic job with producing this album, but it's not as perfect as a lot of people think it is. There are a few flaws here and there, and I'll get to that later on. But my official first listen of it, I went through it. I didn't have too big of a gripe with what was going on with it. But my second playthrough was when I had more of a bad reaction to certain songs. So of course, typically when you come from the Disney Channel, people are gonna look at you as coming out with certain type of music as maybe more poppy or more popcorn. But on this album, Coco Jones was talking more about love and lust, and I think that was a pretty good way to go. I sometimes from the Disney Channel kids, it could be a little corny. It could be a little bit more too like they're trying too hard. This sounds like she's been through some relationships. It sounds very mature. You got it's you got songs like AE, OMG, and Thing for You, which I really enjoy. Coco getting into like the different bags on here with those types of songs. I think the weak points on this album would be the most beautiful. I think it was the most beautiful record with Future. Hated that feature, and I'm typically on board when Future it ends up being a feature on a song, especially when it's like an R&B song. I love R&B Future, but for some strange reason, it felt like the Future feature didn't match the song, in my opinion. This was also produced by London on the track, but the song just didn't hit for me. And that was one of the few songs that I skipped on here. This is a very traditional R&B album. It's got more singing on there. I know it's a difference between traditional and modern R&B. And I was surprised that she went the more traditional R&B route. Again, speaking on things of like lust and love and sex and stuff like that, like she actually convinced me on this one. And again, she's a Disney kid, so 9 times out of 10, it really does feel like it's forced when it comes to making albums of this nature. But she came off very authentic. She came off as a person who had been through some stuff. But I honestly said, and I said this on Twitter too, a lot of these R&B singers haven't been hurt. Their feelings ain't been hurt enough for them to be coming out with some of this music. And you could tell with some of the later songs on the album where she is talking about going through some things when it comes to a relationship and it's not really working. It just never really gave me the tone of I'm hurt or I'm sad. It still felt happy or moving in more of a happy direction. It just felt a lot more upbeat. And I don't think the production of those songs that were supposed to sound like she was going through heartbreak, I don't think the production was done very well, and I don't think it expressed what she was supposed to be feeling. Again, these R&B singers, man, they live so many great lives, and it feels like she ain't never really been hurt before. This and Dustin Conrad's album are the only 2 R&B albums I've liked so far in 2025, and it's already like May, which is blowing my mind. But these are the only 2 R&B albums I've liked, and they just came out. I know they dropped an album here recently, earlier this year, and I haven't even cracked it open. Nobody's been getting me excited for R&B here recently, and I really want to get back into my R&B bag. This album's not perfect, but it is solid as hell. She did a wonderful job, and I think I have to give credit to Def Jam for giving her a good budget for this album. You can tell in the production, you can tell the type of producers that she got that Def Jam spent a little bit of money on this, and I like it. I really enjoy it. It's not perfect, but it's still a really solid album. I hope she can continue to put out music like this. And I'm going to say this is certified heat. Coco Jones' vocals make the album great. The flow of the album does work. She does have a great flow to the album, and it does have replayability. So go out, listen to the Coco Jones Why Not More album. It is in your phones right now.
And you kind of like, I finna drop. And then, but you know, it's like because you think you go over there and you run your own program, and it don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? You go over there and he like, it's a whole bunch of structure going on, and he like, man, if it ain't ready, it ain't coming out. Period. And it's always been that way. You're not gonna come speed up the process. You ain't gonna come do nothing different. Right. So it's like, this is what, until we feel like you're ready. Go sit down. Go take a seat on that bench, buddy.
So if you follow me on social media, and if you're not, then you're crazy, because this is where I get my great takes off. But if you've been following me on social media, you have seen me talk about Ray Vaughn for the last year. Anything that he has dropped, I have posted it on my Instagram. Anything that he has put out there, I've most definitely praised, because this nigga can rap and y'all are not talking about it. I don't know what TDE is doing over there, but it ain't bad. It is good, and I am here for it. Ray Vaughn just dropped his mixtape, The Good, The Bad, The Dollar Menu, 11 tracks, 42 minutes long. This mixtape is not getting enough attention. It's not. I don't know why y'all out here hating. I don't know why y'all think it's a situation where y'all don't know this dude. He has been out here. When I heard the song Problem with him and Pusha T, I already knew what this dude was going to be able to do and what he was going to be able to pull off. This mixtape deserves way more attention than what it's getting. I think people are low-key hating on it because it's coming from TDE, and right now TDE is out here winning. And this is more than just some West Coast hip-hop bullshit. Like, Ray Vaughn is telling a story about being broke. He's telling a story about dealing with a mother who has addiction, just living in struggle. Like, this is one of those reality rap albums or mixtapes or whatever you want to call it, and he put a lot into this. You can tell from the songs that he's got on here that he is pouring his heart out, and he's letting y'all know his story. And I think that's where things are getting really mixed up at. I think a lot of people are thinking more Kendrick Lamar when they think TDE or when they think the West Coast, which I get it. Like, Kendrick Lamar is leading the wave when it comes to West Coast rap, but this shit needs to be heard, because this nigga put together a phenomenal mixtape. I didn't expect it to be so heavy, so real. I didn't expect him to take it to places that he's taking it on this album. But Ray Vaughn has really given us something to think about when it comes to West Coast hip hop. Just listening to a lot of the singles he dropped last year, he went through all of these different styles. Like, he dropped something with NLE Chopper. He had something with Pusha T. He was doing, raps about girls, raps about being a player. He was doing raps about just out here trying to get into a gang. He touched every corner of hip hop and nobody said anything about it. And he had been doing that for a whole year straight. One of my favorite producers, Rayo, was a producer on this album. He's the one who produced the Problem song with him and Pusha T. He also had Tariq, and he had Rory Bear on this album as well too, as a producer. All of them killed it. They killed the production. It is a heavy, heavy West Coast sounding album. More LA West Coast than it is the Bay Area, but it is a West Coast sounding album, and I fucking love it. Something else about this album that I really enjoy is I like that Ray Vaughn's one of the newer artists, newer rappers out here, and he's telling stories, not just talking about money or sliding on ops or rapping in front of somebody's grave. Like, he's actually telling his story, what's going on in his life. And again, I didn't expect that from this mixtape. I thought he was gonna get into another bag altogether, but he shocked me and he surprised me what he was doing, how emotionally heavy this album was. Like, I would expect an album like this to come from like Vince Staples. And I'm not saying he's on Vince Staples level yet, but I would expect something like this to come from Vince Staples. This shit is so good, bro. And he really, really put a lot of himself into this album. You can tell just by the way that he's rapping, just by the type of topics and themes that he's talking about. Like, this nigga really got into his soul and was like, here y'all go. And I love that about this album. This album don't really have any skips on there. Does that mean it's a classic album? No, by any means, it doesn't mean it's a classic. It does mean that the album flows well. It does mean the album has a lot of substance. Where you have songs on here like Janky Moral Compass or Flat Shasta, like, he's giving you some substance in here. He's really talking about being on some sad, poor shit, or on some, my mom is I love my mama, but she's addicted to drugs and alcohol, and I'm trying to make my way through the world. Like, I love the fact that he's giving us that instead of what the norm is when it comes to newer artists. And I think he should be celebrated for doing something like that. And again, this goes along with what TDE has been doing when it comes to newer artists. Their up-and-coming artists are doing things that the OGs are doing, telling stories, giving us great raps behind there, and giving us solid production. And I have to say, a lot of the newer artists aren't doing things like that. And yes, there are some songs on here who are really sad, but there are songs, he has a good balance with giving us songs like Suburban Kids or Look at God with Lil Russell, which I thought was I didn't really think that they were going to mesh well, but they did, and it worked. But he's giving us a good balance of good and bad on here. So don't think it's all the way depressing or all the way sad. He's giving us some shit on here that gives people some hope, and I like that about this album too. My favorite song on this album is East Chat with Isaiah Rashad. I didn't think they were gonna have the kind of chemistry that they did on this song. When I seen Isaiah Rashad on the feature list, I was like, oh shit, like, I haven't heard Isaiah Rashad in a minute. So I was skeptical because I didn't really know if they were going to mesh well. That's the best song on the album, man. That's my favorite song on there, just because their chemistry, their back and forth, the way they rapped on that song in particular, it just worked. And I want more Isaiah Rashad and Ray Vaughn. This mixtape is doing the same thing that Alligator Bites was doing for Doechii. It's a great preview before the album, and it's telling us that TDE has got something in the water, and they're actually developing their artist over there. I wish more labels took time out to do that. And a lot of people are talking about how these artists are coming out of nowhere. But if some of y'all was actually listening to music like y'all say y'all do, you would have seen this coming a mile away, especially from Ray Vaughn. I've ran this album 4 times already, and it's one of the best projects I've heard this year. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be saying the same thing 3 months down the line, because it is one of those albums where if you're sad, it's going to make you even sadder. If you're depressed, it's probably going to put you in a more depressed mood, because some of the themes in here are so bad, not bad, but some of the themes in here are so sad, and it's like, damn, bro, you was going through hell. But that story needs to be told in hip hop, and we need more people telling that story. As much as I love when people make albums like this, I also think that when you make albums like this or mixtapes like this or whatever it is, you put yourself in a box. So I'm loving it right now. I want to see if I'm going to be in the same state of mind 3 months down the line from here. I remember listening to Vince Staples' Dark Times, and I didn't like it at first, and then I had to gradually ease my way into it because Dark Times is so heavy. Then later on in that year, I just couldn't really get back into the album anymore because it's just so many. You have to be in a particular mood to be able to listen to that kind of hip hop. So with that being said, I can't say that this is a classic, but I can say that it is certified heat. If you haven't listened to this album yet, I think you're doing yourself a disservice by not listening to it. Put your feelings to the side, put your ego to the side, go out and listen to this, because Ray Vaughn just put out one of the best albums of 2025.
You said rap competition or actual real life problems, business has to be handled at the end of the day, and people are always gonna do, and selflessly and selfishly, as they should, what they think is best for their business. Leave room for the conversation, because 9 times out of 10, the conversation will come.
Shakespeare's the writer, right?
Yeah, man. I fuck with Shakespeare. Yeah, Macbeth and that. Leave room for the conversation, innit? So, and that's coming from someone that sometimes hasn't left room for the conversation and just gone 0 to 100.
Ever since I touched down in London, and you've been trying to see what's going on with the UK rap scene, people have been telling me that grime is pretty much over with. And I think Chip heard the same thing and decided to drop an album. Chip has been an OG in the game here for a while now, and people have been looking forward to this album. So Chip dropped his newest album called Grime Scene Savior, 12 tracks, 32 minutes long. The timeline on my UK side of things have been going crazy over this Chip album. They have been waiting on this. This has been something that people have been talking about for a while. And the lead up to this album has been pretty good. He dropped 2 great singles, and I think he actually did a pretty good job with promoing this album, and I think it worked for a lot of people. I also have to celebrate Chip doing a great job post-album drop. Now, if you don't know, Chip has been all over the UK doing different listening parties, and he's been getting people into the album. He's been popping up in different places, and he's been giving the album a whole lot more listens, or giving more ears to it, which I gotta celebrate him for doing that. For a grime album, it's pretty good, but I don't know if it's changing or bringing back the grime scene just yet. So like most UK grime, it's very high in the BPMs, it's very high energy, and I think Chip really understands that since he's an OG in the game now. And I have to agree, from my limited knowledge of grime, everything has always been high energy, everything has kept going, until we get to this Sexy Grime song that he has on here, which is the equivalent to what Sexy Drill is in New York. But that song took me out of the album. Like, I personally wasn't feeling it, because maybe it was just, again, my limited knowledge of grime. I never really thought I would hear something like that. When I hear grime music, it's always high BPMs, it's always electronic music, it's just always just going and going. I think Chip was doing something different when he put this Sexy Grime record on the album. Even though I think that the Sexy Grime record is a miss, he jumps right back into it with the Grime Scene Savior posse cut. Everybody is on there, from JME to Novelist to Skepta, a ton more people who are from the UK rap scene. And that is like my favorite song on there, because I get to hear all of these different styles on one grime song, and it just blows me away. It's actually kind of like the One Blood remix. Like, everybody is on there, and it feels good, because he's trying to bring the grime scene back, and he's trying to get people to get back into what made the grime scene so good in the first place. So I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I don't know if this album fits with the current landscape of the grime scene now here in the UK, because I still have limited knowledge when it comes to grime, UK grime. There's been some things here and there that I've listened to, but the current landscape of it, I just don't know, man. Like, I like grime, I just haven't been around it enough to really understand where the scene is at. I could just only go off of what people have told me, which is grime scene is just not as good as it used to be, or it's dead. I can only really say 7 songs on the album were good, that I enjoyed. Like, that was it. Again, I'm still limited on my grime knowledge when it comes to UK grime, but I do know how music works, and I do know how grime works. But when you put songs on there like Sexy Grime, or there's another song, Not the Same, I wasn't feeling any of those songs, because it just brought the energy down, and it kind of slowed the album up a little bit. So those songs right there really didn't make the album good for me, or it just kind of ruined the experience for me. With Chip doing some things differently and taking a couple of lefts in the album, it threw me off, and it just really took me out of the album. It was a few songs that I would put in a playlist, a grime playlist, but at the end of the day, I don't think I want to go back to listen to this album in full. It swings too much for me, and I don't know, really only had like 3 bangers on the whole thing. So with all that being said, I can just say that the Chip album is a respectable drop, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't go out and listen to it. If you want to hear some pretty good grime, if you want to get into pull some songs out to put on your grime playlist, I would suggest to go listen to it. It's called Grime Scene Savior, and it's on your phones right now. Finally, here are some songs that you need to put in a playlist and put in rotation right now. Wretch 32 with Feels. I think he came out with some very good rapping, and he's really hitting everything in this song. I don't know if the album's out yet, but it should be coming pretty soon. Ants Live with the song London Eye. I just found him. He's an up-and-coming artist. He was actually on a UK Rap Rising playlist, and I heard this song on London Eye. It is very good. It's a solid album. I'm about to go check out his catalog to see what else he has. If I'm not mistaken, he's an independent artist. Don't quote me on that because I haven't done all my research. But if you have not listened to London Eye, put that in the playlist right now. Emotional Oranges, Call It Off. I have been an Emotional Oranges fan since the very beginning. I love them. I cannot wait to see them live. They have a great mix of like this old school synth vibe and then this like newer wave. I don't know how to explain it, but I do like their music and I think Call It Off is one of their better songs. Make sure you put that in their playlist. Young Thug featuring Future, Money on Money. Look, I know that people have been saying this song is mid, but the Future feature saves it. I know he hurt one song, but this feature on here saves it. I can't wait to see what Young Thug is gonna do for his full album. He's been promoting it very heavy. I think he did a pretty okay job. Like the song's not fantastic. I think it's pretty average, but the song does deserve to be on a playlist, especially if you out and about. Now, here are some songs that you need to avoid because this shit was not good. Meg Thee Stallion, Whenever. I tried to like this song. I promise you, I tried hard. But the song, I don't know what this is for because she says she's not putting out Act 3. And it really does sound like she just put out a song to address somebody. Who? I don't know. It's always the haters. But I think when you listen to the song, she's addressing a particular hater. Who knows what it is? I know right now the biggest meme on the timeline is every Meg song sounds the same. And I'm not either going to confirm or deny that. You have to think about that for yourself. Primo Rice just put out Sucker Free Part 2. This shit is sounding like the same shit he's been putting out all the time. Primo Rice, I love you because you have done some great music, but you need to get a new producer and you need to switch up the flow just a little bit, bruh. Like this shit is sounding a lot like your old shit. I need new shit. I need new rhymes. I need new production. Do something different. Finally, Gold Link's Metatron. This feels like a 90s song, not in a good way. If you go listen to it, you'll know exactly what I mean. I be trying with Gold Link on a regular basis. I be really wanting to get into his music again, but I think you are forever going to be the dude who did Crew. Sorry. That's just the way it is. But those are the songs that I think you should be checking out and you should be avoiding. That's it. I don't have anything else. Thank you guys for joining me for the check-in. I hope you guys continue to support the videos. And if you like content like this, make sure you are subscribed to my YouTube channel, BYNK Media. And for any other bonus content, it will be on the Patreon first, and then it comes to the YouTube next. So with that being said, thank you guys for showing up, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.
Thank you for joining the STEM Society.